Thank you, dear heart. And as we spoke of yesterday, when you go back to Yeshua 2,000 years ago, the teachings are right there. And when he says, the veil of the temple must be rent in twain, again, we're talking about a purple curtain in church. They were talking about the barrier between the subconscious and the unconscious mind, that which holds back energy. And my offering is that we are not designed to have an unconscious mind at all. If that veil were totally wide open, we'd have that total full flow of energy all the time. And the energy system is designed to take the time, lay down and rest, and let itself regenerate, regather, rebuild, and heal. Probably one of the biggest pieces missing in our culture in the process of healing is that people don't take the time to take care of themselves when the structure is demanding healing energy. And we are generators of energy, and recognizing that we're generators and receivers of energy, one of the things that humans can do that, as far as we can tell, no other energy creature on the planet can do. And that is that we can originate something different and new. And we can originate on what people call the negative side or the positive side. You know, you see a mother fox with its den on the side of a river, and intuitionally the fox gets the hit. There's a big storm coming and the river's going to flood, and the fox has enough knowledge to move itself up the hill and dig a new den or find a new den. So it has this survival instinct. But you're not going to find a fox that when it gets this intuitive hit, there's a flood coming and we're going to get these babies out of here, that says, you know, I think what I'll do is I'll build a dam and build a nice 2-bedroom house here. And then I'll be able to watch the river flow by from the front door. You're not going to find a fox that does that. Yes, the fox can follow its guidance, but it can't originate, can't do something new. Now, if we come from a bloodline of people who've invented all kinds of new things, have originated all kinds of new things, and they're things that we're seeing on display in the culture right now: rage, fear, hatred, condemnation, gossip, slander, vengeance. We see all kinds of that going on. And we may have been born into a family system that has that as part of their genetics. We certainly are in a culture that's got lots of it. And so it takes engaging in the work of healing to free ourselves from those energetic dynamics that perhaps we would say, if I had to originate this, I'd say no, I'm finished with it. You know, that story that was started out with what Jeannie was reading. There's this person who's in all kinds of depression and shut down, and all of a sudden circumstances change, and it seems like circumstances dictate what happens. But that's only because we've not chosen to consciously originate, and we've not been given the tool, in particular, of forgiveness. I was posting on someone's website this morning that was talking about forgiving other people, and I offered the thought, the pain, the rage you're feeling, yes, needs to be forgiven, needs to be removed. So please forgive continuously, but never forgive anybody for anything. Because forgiveness is not about Greek pardoning, letting people off the hook because you're in pain or turmoil or trauma of some kind. Forgiveness is about how you reach inside, find the hidden roots of the trauma, the unconscious part of the mind, open it up, open the flow. And purposely, consciously, whenever anything of an hostility or fear-based nature moves in each one of us, if we choose to forgive as to that fear or hostility-based dynamic in us, then will open up and free flow the energy that otherwise is consuming and creating destructive results with. So the forgiveness tool is the core, the most important piece to the whole puzzle. And it's interesting, if you read in the Aramaic, you'll hear that the Greeks translated forgive your brother, forgive your father, forgive your mother, forgive your brother seven times seven. And I can remember when I first started to comprehend and work with the Aramaic that it was somewhat confusing to me, because in the Aramaic, wherever the Greeks said forgive somebody, in the Aramaic it doesn't say forgive your brother, it says forgive as to your brother. And for me at first that was a little bit confusing. What does that mean, forgive as to your brother? And it took some time to build the brain cells to recognize that what we were being told was that if I interact with you, you are my brother, my sister, and you resonate or arouse something based in hostility or fear in me. Now the Greeks would say, well, you just forgive them for making you mad. I say never forgive anybody for making you mad, because it's a lie to think that anybody could make you mad. But if there's mad in there, you'll certainly have a whole procession of people showing up to bring it up for you. So in that circumstance, in the Aramaic, the way the language would be used would be, so your brother brought up rage and anger in you, so now what you need to do is forgive as to your brother. In other words, what your brother has brought up in you is a subject of forgiveness, not your brother. If you're blaming yourself for something, then you forgive as to yourself. And that's what loosens up, that's what opens the flow of energy that puts us back on top. Enough restriction of energy in the system, and we have disease processes going on. You know, if energy isn't flowing properly through a cell, that cell is in a diseased condition. Enough cells diseased, and the organ that make up, the organ that is made up by the cells will tend to be dysfunctional. It'll start out with poor function, and that's where somebody, you know, goes through life in their 20s, and they go to the doctor with, you know what, I'm feeling a little pain, a little low energy, you know, maybe you need to fix me. Oh, can't find anything. 5 years later, go back, check again. Nope, can't find anything. 10 years later, go back. Oh, no, can't find anything. Well, you just, you know, that's just the way it is. The whole time, if there was healing possible, then over that 20-year period where you're looking for the disease and someone in authority is joining you in looking for the disease, and then in the 25th year, you go get checked. Ah, here it is. We found it. This has been the problem all along. Well, no, actually it wasn't. Actually, the problem all along was the restriction of energy that at first became functional. The organs functionally fell out of alignment with the way they were designed to work. And over many, many years, that functional disorder, that restriction of energy, translates into physical deterioration and disease, or what we call physical deterioration and disease. And of course, there is no, you remember Yeshua said the words, do not judge by appearances. There is no physical disease. And people say, well, wait a minute, I can see it. Well, I got it that your brain is producing something, but when you realize that there is no physical, how can there be physical disease? How is that possible? What do you mean there's no physical, Michael? Well, if you really get down to looking at it, what your brain generates as a picture of a body or of something physical is an appearance generated by your brain. It's not the truth. Now, you may say, well, I know better than that. Well, go have a conversation with Albert Einstein. Here's what Albert said. On such things as matter, we have been all wrong. What we have heretofore called matter is energy. Energy whose vibrations have been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. Material world A body does not exist. The appearance of one, a picture in the brain does, yes. You know, if I had a propeller spinning on an airplane on the tarmac, and you brought someone from the jungle somewhere who's never seen anything more complex than a dugout canoe, they would look at the spinning propeller and what would they say? Oh, I see a shining silver disc. Is there a shining silver disc there? No. But there sure is the appearance of one. The mind, the eye, not being able to keep up with the rate of spin of the prop, turns it into an image, the brain turns it into an image of something that isn't there. Now we take that person from the jungles and they say, well, you know, every time I went and looked and I checked our history books, and every time someone's seen this thing you called an airplane, there's always a series of shiny silver discs attached in the front of it. And I say, well, that's interesting. But what if everything you think you know about airplanes is a lie? And what if you didn't realize that you get to organize the way the energy system works and you're living in a lie? What if everything you've been taught about your body is a lie? And that what it is a spinning electron, proton, neutron light system that you have charge of, and you can originate as you choose. You'll notice the television set originates the disease that the set is trying to say, that the advertiser is trying to sell you. You'll notice that there's, in most every ad, there's some sort of highly charged. Either it's a depressing or an exciting. You know, this person's dancing through the daisies, like, you know, with their love on their arms, like they're getting ready to go and have the most fantastic night ever. And the voice in the background is telling you all the deadly diseases they're going to be caused if you take this pill, that next they're going to say, check and see if this is right for you. You know what they're doing? They're originating for you. They're working to get your mind to buy into an energetic thought pattern, a thought form that if it becomes manifest in your form will be the disease that they're selling the drug for. I think that all drug advertising should be stopped, and it should be criminal, because they know exactly what they're doing. They know the power of the mind. That's why, just before they tell you, go check and see if this is right for you, go check with your doctor. There's always this fun, exciting, romping through the flowers in joy and delight once one is taking this drug. And every drug is a disease disguised as a cure. Don't take my word for it. Just go run to the drugstore, ask to see, or just look, you know, even the over-the-counter stuff, and take a look inside the package. There's a little insert, and if you unfold it, it's going to give you a list of all the diseases that that drug is going to cause. Now, it's not going to call them diseases, because that would be, you know, blowing the horn on themselves. We have a fancy word of trickery for those diseases listed on the package insert. They're not diseases. They're just side effects. Yeah, right. Okay. In any event, it's all about a wake-up call. It's all about recognizing that we are energetic beings, and that the world has developed systems in many directions. Some of them are governments, some of them are churchianity, systems of people who've honed the skill of taking over other people's energy systems and directing those energy systems for their own benefit. When we realize who we are, we recognize that we are transmuters of energy. And as transmuters of energy, all we need are the right raw materials and the right elimination, and things are going to tend to rock. compromise either of those things. You know, it's interesting. We live in a culture that if you go into a restaurant, almost anywhere these days, you have to ask if they've got anything with actual food in it. Like, for instance, if you're going to have a sandwich, good luck in finding a piece of bread for that sandwich that actually has nutrition in it and is actually food and isn't just a chemical makeup, a chemical mix where they've stripped away all of the nutrients to sell them to the big farmers, profit one. The leftover white flour, they paid Madison Avenue to promote and to tell you that this white paste, if you get it wet, it's just like paste, is going to build your body in 12 wonderful ways. Actually, there are two really good uses for white bread, which it's almost impossible to go into a restaurant and get anything other than white bread today. Oh, you might get some that's got a little bit of color in it. They call it brown bread, but it's not nutrition that's in there. It's coloring. But there are two uses that I've discovered for that white bread. One is, you know, if you've got a loose floor tile, you can use it to stick the tile down. And if you break a glass, it can be good for picking up. You get it a little bit wet, it'll pick up broken glass. But as far as putting it in your body, literally deadly. And each of us needs to wake up to how this system works, what energy means, what kind of energies are needed to fuel and supply this energy structure called a body, and what kind of things are toxic and poison to this energy body. One of the things we've been doing here in Virginia is developing the ability to grow our own food. So I'm doing lots of work on gardening. Actually, I took some pictures this morning. We've got about, I'm not even sure what we're up to. We've got to be over 40 indigenous plants here now. And I took a couple of pictures of some of the bees that are buzzing around. We've probably doubled or tripled our bee and bird population in just the last 3 or 4 weeks with these new pollinator plants. Energy, supplying these creatures with the energy that they need to do the job that they do for us. So understanding that we live in an energy system, on such things as matter, we have been all wrong. What we've heretofore called matter is energy. And you're designed to direct and originate for the energy that's flowing through you. There are 3 basic states through which that energy can flow in us. One of them is called in Aramaic Rahma, or love. One of them is fear. The other is hostility. It's time for us to wake up to who we are and to begin the project of forgiving everything that's unlike that state of love that we're designed to be and that we're designed to create in the world. And so, Miss Jeannie, do we have anybody in the phone queue with a hand up or anything happening in the chat room?
It is all quiet on this end. Susan's hand's up, but I believe it's left over from Dr. Tim, but I'll turn on her microphone just to double check. Hello, Miss Susan.
Are you with us, Susan? She's maybe stepped away from her phone. All right, well, if you're out there in listener land, I'm kind of complete with what I have to share today. And so it's your turn. The space is open. If you're on one of those stations where we can't see you on our control panel, if you dial in to the show, the call number is 563-999-3581. If you dial that number, 563-999-3581, you'll be listening to the show directly. And then, if you push 1, that will raise a hand in the control panel, and Jeannie will know that you want to speak to us. And we'd love to hear your voice. Is there any way we can support you? Anything to do with this work? Anything related to the conversation we've just had about energy? we could just pass the next half hour in silence, perhaps.
Share yesterday's experience with Miss Aria. Her eyes just got really big. Where you asked her to change
her, so she can hear you.
No. Do you want? I've got it on speaker.
Oh, okay.
You gonna tell her?
So.
How you changed your energy yesterday? No, she doesn't.
Is it all right if I share it, Aria?
Mm-hmm. She says, uh-huh.
Okay, cool. So yesterday, we were, in the living room playing, and it was time to go out and do a little work in the garden. So we suggested that we get dressed and go out. It was a little bit chilly, and do that work in the garden. And Aria got kind of whiny. Oh, I don't want to do it. I want to do this. And I stopped and explained that, that life serves each and every one of us, and that we're here to cooperate with and support each other. And it isn't all just about what you want or what I want, There are times when you want to do something, and that's what we do. And then there are times when Nene or Papa or Mom or Dad want to do something, and it's your turn to cooperate. And I've actually been marveling. I think I've said it 3 or 4 times. I mean, it was a fairly intense whine, which I know she's had modeled in her environment somewhat. And as instantly as I said that, she just looked at me and smiled and said, "Oh, okay, let's get our clothes on and go outside." And we went out and did the work in the garden. This morning when she got back from school, Jeannie went and picked her up, and she headed right up the garden. She helped me plant some plants. We got some new elderberry bushes yesterday, and we just got those in the ground before the radio show. And what else did we get in? Lemongrass, and we went out and found some awesome, huge local. I don't even know what that one big plant is that had the bees on it, but it's pretty sweet. So thank you for your help, Aria, in getting the plants planted, feeding them. She thought it was kind of strange because one of the things that we were feeding the plants was chocolate. All of the plants planted on our property have been fed chocolate before we plant them. And people go, what? I've never heard of feeding plants chocolate. Well, actually, there's a story behind it. There's a gentleman that way back, probably 20 years ago, was at Heartland, and he was working on a formula for a chocolate shake mix. And it was all organic, and he actually was testing it when he was at Heartland, so everybody that was there got to taste it. How do you like this? And if I change the recipe and blah, blah. So he came up with this thing called quantum chocolate. And about probably 7 years ago, he got to the point where he got his funding together, and he got a food manufacturing company to manufacture his chocolate. He got, packaging made, looked really nice, quantum chocolate packaging, and he was an Amazon seller, and so he started to sell on Amazon. Fortunately for us, unfortunately for him, the ingredients being all organic, and there were quite a list of about 10 different, high quality superfoods in it. They were really expensive, so he had to sell this stuff for $80 a pound. And unfortunately, at $80 a pound, it just didn't take off. So he was left with about, close to 1,000 pounds left over when he decided to discontinue it. And he'd been to Heartland and benefit from it. So, Michael, I've got some quantum chocolate made up. If you'd like, I'll donate it to Heartland. All you have to do is pay the shipping. And so we still have probably 600 or 700 pounds of chocolate in our storeroom. But now for 3 years now, whenever we planted plants, that's one of the ways that we're feeding them. That's got all these superfoods in it, and they just really seem to love it. I mean, our plants have been really wonderfully successful, and so Thank you, Justin, for the donation of the quantum chocolate. Of course, we've eaten our share of it, and it's fed 4 gardens now for 3 years. So much appreciation. So that's how we came to be feeding our plants chocolates. Energy. Energy in motion.
It's called a blue lobelia.
Blue lobelia, yeah. That's the one with the bells on it. I was actually thinking of the other one that we dug up over near that
factory.
That
one's the blue lobelia. That one is the blue lobelia. The other tall one with the bells on it is the digit.
Oh, that's digitalis, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, learning plants too. It's all part of the game. So if you're out there in listener land, let's have a conversation. 563-999-3581. How can we serve you? How can we support you? Is there anything we've said that doesn't make sense or that needs improvement, needs clarification? Or just that you have some questions about? We'd love to have you help us refine our understanding of this whole game of energy. And one of the things that always gives me a new insight is somebody who asks a question that I've never thought of before, and it gives a different inroad into understanding this body of work and the whole dynamic of how life operates. So once again, if you're on one of those stations we can't see you, our call-in number is 563-999-3581. Call that number, you're listening to the show, then push 1, and we're having a conversation. So let's say hello. Awesome. Good.
It's Miss Julie, 541. You're on the air.
Hi. How are you?
Welcome, young lady. How are you? We're rocking, doing well.
Great. So is Aria still there?
She is.
She is.
The girl is here.
Aria, I love how you changed your energy. Hi. You made me happy. No, you didn't make me happy. I share in that happiness.
Yay.
It was easy, wasn't it?
You know what? That's what I wanted to say. Oh, go ahead.
Tell her how we change your thoughts. And it changes. No. Oh, she's got a tomato in her mouth. If we have fruit or tomatoes or whatever, she will go to a tomato first every time.
Yum, yum. They're easy to eat. How about the peas?
She's a tomato girl.
In the pea pod? Does she like peas when she pops them open from the pea pod?
Only if they're not in the little pod.
In the little what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, pod.
No.
Bowls.
No, bars.
Bars?
Balls.
I'm not sure.
Do you like them out of the shell, Aria? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you don't like peas if they're little balls?
Only like the skin on them.
Oh, if they've got skin on them. Oh, and boil them? Okay.
Oh, yeah, you can eat them whole. That's right. You can just eat them whole. They're yummy that way. Yeah.
And she likes the flower garden that we're creating, and she's helping. She picked out yesterday exactly where she wanted Papa to put each plant.
Did she talk to the bees?
You said hi to them. You petted one the other day, didn't you? A bee?
A bee?
A bumblebee?
I like to say please to the bees and please to the trees.
The birds and bees are a lot out there now, aren't they? Yeah.
So anyway, well, I just want to say thank you for talking about changing the energy because, and I'm going to talk more in an adult way now, okay, Aria? But I know your grandma and grandpa can explain it to you, and I bet you can get it anyway because you're always studying so hard and learning. So I've been experiencing changing my energy more quickly, and I've been doing that in congruence with studying the first law and the second law about holding a condition of Rahma in my mind when thinking of God, self, or neighbor. And so that helps me. I just go for setting that condition of Rahma in my mind, whatever it is, because I don't really know how it happens or anything like that, but I can recognize it when I get there. And so it just feels like it brings everything into well-being again, and including, I remember doing a lot of work on rage at one point in this work because I had heard someone else in one of our Heartland intensives had done a lot of work on rage and benefited a lot from it. And so I knew it was there inside me to work on. And so then now, I'm learning to not hold that as a protocol for others, that maybe I'm doing it inside of me to the point that it's reaching critical mass, not critical race theory, but critical mass, which we need to talk
right.
about more. There's this change in our culture trying to steer us away from critical mass, but I really feel I'm experiencing critical mass shift for the amount of anger that can be regenerated from all these generations. And I'm seeing it work inside me because with my boyfriend and I, when we get into an argument that seems angry, it seems like that anger energy is triggered, then I'm becoming more an observer of it, and not succumbing to it, so that I wimp away from it, but I just stand in truth, and I know that there's a piece in me that needs to still be released, and so this is bringing me to all kinds of wonderful feelings of. I guess you could say oneness, because I don't know if I shared this with you yet. It's been with me in the last week or so, that there's a little, whatever small amount of everything inside me, and there's a little bit of me inside everything or everyone else, everything, God, neighbor, self. And so by my willingness to change my energy, I can change it that fast, and I really truly am willing. And if it's harder on one day than another day, I know that that's what I need to keep looking into. I going for that critical mass to be released, and so I'm just
joining
saying,
you in that willingness.
It all works so well. It just and I'm grateful for the tools. I'm grateful for beautiful grandchildren like Arya Rain, and I hope I get to meet you someday, Arya. And good luck to you all, and that's all I have to say as I'm moving back to Spain.
All right. You're heading back there when?
We moved our departure date up to July 19th.
July 19th. So you've got a few weeks yet. Cool.
Yeah, we're getting all packed up so that the everything is shipped off to the container that's shipping it over to us, and then I'll be seeing my father a lot now in these next few weeks, and I'm hoping to. I'm already sensing so much grief and whatever I have to process about that. I've had to put so much on hold just to accomplish these tasks, but basically I feel in good shape. I have good, I've been having good dreams about it, so I'm staying in touch with the energy and the love that's really present. So it's
sweet.
It's cool, but it's also sort of sad. I know this is But it'll be great for him. He wants us all to applaud when he finally gets to go because he really wants to. So,
well, joining you in holding the space for him and the space for yourself. And you've got a few weeks. Who knows? You may be totally and completely free of it, so you can just be there, totally present as that space of love with him. I'll hold the space for that.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll probably call in from time to time. So, and also, are we meeting on our third Saturday for our Mind Shifters?
We're rocking on it. Yes, ma'am.
Okie dokie. All right, I'm planning on that.
All right.
I forget the date, but yeah. Okay, well, I'm complete, and I'll let you all go and be blessed.
Hardy, have a blessed one. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Enjoy your next few weeks here. All right. Well, Miss Jeannie, we've got about 15 minutes. Do we have anybody in the phone queue with a hand up?
No, we don't. So come on, somebody, press 1. Press 1. We have 15 minutes.
I have a long list of things to do today yet. So if nobody else has a question or a thought for us, then I'm just going to bid each of you.
Again? Julie just pressed 1 again.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey there.
Well, I was just
It's been so long.
I know. I was thinking, does Aria Rain ever raise her hand?
In school? Yes. You have to raise it a lot.
So if she has anything...
School is over. Today was her last day.
Ooh.
So she's graduated out of pre-kindergarten, and she'll be going into kindergarten next year.
Ooh. That's good. Is she going to have swimming lessons or anything like that this summer?
She has got ballet, and she has gymnastics.
Ooh, that's good.
Well, you go to ballet camp next week.
And how about piano?
Well, she actually was, I have a piano here that was my mom's, and she was playing on it the other day, and she said, ooh, I like the soft notes. And I said, well, maybe you'll want to take piano lessons.
Are you keeping it tuned?
She said, do you want to hear her?
Oh, I do.
Play it?
I do.
Thank
you.
All right, here she goes.
Okay.
You got to hit them, though, hard enough that it's where she can hear them. Okay. Her little fingers look good on the keys.
Does she curve them?
She's got she's got still small hands, but her whole finger, just the tips of them are hitting the.
You could train her to make okay signs with each finger against her thumb, and that'll be the curve she wants. Anyway,
the what?
The okay sign. If you make the okay sign with each finger, the first, second, third, fourth. Yeah, that's the curve for her to put on the piano and press the keys with, and drop her arm into that, and that'll produce the tone.
So your fingers are curved like that. Okay.
Because those are fulcrums, and those fulcrums that translate the weight of the arm to the tip of the finger.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Cool. So, first piano lesson. Thank you, piano teacher.
You're welcome. And get the piano tuned, because her ears will totally, I could tell she was trying to hear where to go next, so that's real important to get a piano tuned.
Yeah, it's probably not been tuned in 10 years. So.
Do you want to know a little information about what that is? it's simple information. There's 3 strings for each tone in the upper higher notes, and each of those strings for each one tone or pitch have to be synchronized. So it can sound like it's sort of in tune, but there's a little fuzziness and a little offness to the frequencies. So that all gets set in place. And then in the lower strings, those turn into 2 strings that are thicker, and they're kind of wrapped in copper, I think. And then the lowest strings are very thick, and just one of them, because they're longer and they resonate longer, and so it's just all, intelligent design. She'd probably love to look inside. When the tuner comes, let her watch the tuner tune it. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Good idea. Thank you.
If you need a donation for that, I'd be happy to give you a donation to pay for the first tuning.
Aw, thanks.
Oh, thank you.
So you're welcome. So let me know when that happens.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, it shouldn't be more than 100. I don't know. It's around that range every year.
Yeah.
Once a year. Sometimes if it's been out of tune, a while, or not tuned in a while, they'll maybe tell you they have to come back for a second tuning. But I think you could still be fine and wait another 6 months, and then after that, every year.
Cool. Thank you for the input.
Sorry. You're welcome.
All right. And was there something else were there 2 things you wanted to talk about?
Well, it was just Aria raising her hand if she wanted to come on and say something on the show, and then I wanted to share whatever I shared. So I'm done.
Cool.
I'm done now.
All right. Mucho gracias.
Okay. Have a great
All right.
week.
Enjoy your time in California.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Lots of love. Blessings. Honey, bye-bye.
Thank you.
So we've got about 10 minutes, 8 minutes, I guess. If you're out there in listener land, you have a question for us, you have a thought. And if everybody's complete, then I'm complete with what I have to share. So I'm going to just invite everybody to have the best year yet of your eternal life. It's an awesome gift to give the world.